Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and I did not expect to be sitting here one weekend into the season talking about the first roster change that has gone down, but that's exactly right. The New York Southlanders have decided after just 2 games, enough is enough with Neptune. He's on the bench, a replacement is coming through. Everyone seems to have an opinion on this one. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as well, as always. Definitely not going to want to miss any updates on this and other stories that I'm sure are going to come in the coming days. Firstly, this from the Ravens 2 years ago was the last, effectively, LAN tournament that went on in the UK for Call of Duty. It's sad times, but still, we'll get back there at some point or another. This also, just to mention real quick from the Optic side, there's, the process is coming out, I believe, later today, based on kind of the Optic Halo versus football stuff that went down at the Raleigh event. Of course, there's the other Halo event coming up. I'm pretty sure it's going on this weekend. They also might confirm the fact that their Valorant team, I believe, might be changing from Envy to Optic, at least in terms of the branding, so potentially that will come tonight. I guess we'll see how things go on this one. There's also this going on, so it seems like the New York Southlanders have planned their kind of no pressure episode 1 for quite some time, of course, going on today at 7 PM Eastern, but still, the Optic guys have also come through with the process at a very similar time. You might well imagine maybe the process will be slightly earlier, who knows, but this could be quite interesting, right? Especially because Clayster says the following when he quote tweets this out: instead of hearing it from me, this season we want you to be a part of the New York Southlanders story. So not sure if he was just given this tweet to tweet about, or whether the way he said this about, instead of hearing it from me, you'll hear it in this documentary, and whether they're going to actually address any of the stuff with Neptune in this, because I believe this episode has been made or planned for quite some time, so I'm not sure this is really going to touch on the Neptune stuff. I guess we'll see sometime later today, but well, anyway, this is what exactly is going on. So this I thought was kind of funny really from Crone to kind of kick things off back in January, right when the kickoff classic was going on, and as someone had to say in reply to Florida, yo, Neptune says hi, and of course now it seems he's on the bench. This is quite remarkable, right, because last season I think London were making some roster moves right at the start of the year, but that was kind of out of necessity because Zero couldn't make it out there, and of course we saw even Florida make a change before the season began, with Havok going to the bench and Neptune coming into that team before the start of the year, who of course improved drastically throughout it, and towards the end was a really solid player. And I felt like Neptune and Hydra could be a great duo here on the subliners if Clayster and Crimsix take the time to mold them, but clearly they believe just a week or so into the season this just isn't going to work, right? And there's so much to discuss on this, but still, I think last year was pretty much like a month into the year that the first changes started to come through. This is happening way sooner than I'm pretty sure anyone expected. So yes, of course, Subliners, they weren't looking good this past weekend. They went 0-2. Neptune statistically was one of the worst performers in the entire league, frankly. But it kind of felt like, okay, maybe he wasn't finding his role. Maybe Clayster and Crimsix need to work a little bit more on exactly how to fit him into their system, like where Neptune and how he should be playing. But still, they've decided they're not even going to go down this route. Put him on the bench. Clearly, Clayster and Crimsix felt that even if they could work with Neptune and improve the squad over time, they just, I guess, had a feeling that this team of 4 was not going to be winning championships. It does feel incredibly early to make a change like this, but of course, for us as fans, they know more being in the scrims, being in the practice, being in the team environment about, what might be for the better of the team than we do. And honestly, I kind of respect the balls on this kind of change, making it so soon. And the thing is, no other team is probably going to make a change yet, which means that Neptune is not going to get snapped up and taken away from you. He's still sitting there on the bench if you want him, but still, who knows, maybe other teams will go through and make some moves as well. So of course, as Crone points out in the article, they will look to sign an SMG player from Challengers in the upcoming days, sources say. We'll have a look at who that may well be here in just a couple of minutes time. But yeah, Neptune even goes on to confirm it. He drops the "I'll be back." This is people were saying, wow, is this to do with like the thumb injury or whatever he had? Like, is this going to be a temporary thing? Are they going to bring someone in, sub him in for a couple of matches? But of course, like, they started 0-2. Their matches don't get any easier. Pretty sure the next one they play is up against Los Angeles Thieves on the Friday. They're going to play with their new player in that series, it seems. So yeah, I guess they thought, look, with this current team, we're definitely not going to make winners bracket at the first major. They're at least going to give it a go. And even if they don't still make the winners bracket, it gives them some time to maybe figure some things out. They didn't have a substitute on their team already, so I guess Neptune's now that guy, and they're going to bring in a new fella to the team. Just it's crazy to see a change like this go down so early. And as I say, there's so many mixed opinions on whether this should have happened so quickly. Like, as I tweet out right, take Clayster Neptune after 1 weekend, obviously having a difficult time. There's plenty of memes going on about this. Even this from CDL Scrim Intel. I saw this on Reddit first, but I don't think the guy wanted credit. But yeah, Crim and Clay with the rookie they picked up isn't good enough to carry them. I don't want to play with you anymore. And of course, there's so many questions about this. The first one is, was this the right change, right? Should Neptune have been dropped if anyone was going to be changed? Of course, it really did feel like New York at some point or another, unless they really got their stuff together. And we even talked about it right yesterday with Optic, where Nabel was saying, look, you find out your ceiling very quickly. If things aren't working out, it's time to make a move, right? Because look, at the end of the day, these matches are important. The qualification for the majors is important. These games they're going to play in the upcoming week are very important as well. And of course, every single series you play is points towards the World Championship. So every every match counts, so I guess there's no real too early to make a change if they feel like this is something they need to do. Statistically, it was very interesting where Neptune was falling behind, because his KD was obviously terrible. I think it was like joint lowest in the entire league or something, with probably with Clayster, frankly, but it's actually his engagements which are surprisingly, well, disappearing off the map. So I don't really know, like, Neptune was at his best when he was super fast paced, just flying at people, I guess. That's kind of what I thought he would be for this team, but maybe in this game, like, Clay and Crim don't really think he can do that in that fast aggro SMG role. They might need someone else to fill the gap, because as you can see in terms of engagements here, like, if you just look at the engagement rate per 10 minutes, like, at Hydra's 54 engagements per 10 minutes, Clay and Crim are about 50, and Neptune's down at 46. So you would have thought that Neptune needs to be up there with Hydra, if not even faster than Hydra, because Hydra is maybe not the fastest SMG in the world. You kind of need an entry guy, you would have thought here, to be even more aggressive than Hydra is. In Search and Destroy as well, he has 0.87 KT, but I mean, yeah, kills per round, first blood rate, engagement rate, lower than the rest of the guys pretty much. Hydra slightly lower than him here, and then in Control, a very similar story. Kills per 10 minutes, engagements per 10 minutes, it's actually Clayster and Crimsix leading the way in terms of engagements per 10 minutes, and kills per 10 minutes, Neptune's way off the pace. So, who knows if that's Neptune's fault or whatever. Like, I honestly thought that Crim and Clay would give him some more time to develop it or try and fit him into the system. They've decided enough is enough already. The second question is this actually a good move or a good idea? Because we saw last year, this change especially, when Methods was benched from Toronto, pretty much everyone said, the whole timeline was like, no Zinni, no Winnie, Toronto were a decent team, but they weren't spectacular. They bring in Insight, and they don't have the greatest start with Insight. I'm pretty sure they went 2-3 or something in their opening league matches, but on the start of Stage 2, but then they go into the major and they win the whole thing, right? And of course, since then, they've become a dominant force in the scene. So that's the thing, you bench Methods, everyone was complaining about it, and then the team actually improved drastically. And that's the thing, the Ultra guys obviously caught a lot of flack for that move when it happened, and as it turned out, they knew more than a lot of the fans did at the time. Is this going to be the same case for New York? Like, maybe so, and if they feel internally this squad of 4 just isn't going to, that's the thing, Clay and Crim, they want to win championships, right? They know what it takes to win championships. They've been on many championship winning teams. If they feel like that squad of 4 doesn't have what it takes to win, even if they feel like they could maybe mold Neptune and get him to work in the system that they want to play in and maybe be a top 4 team, that's not good enough for them, right? They want someone who fits how they want to play perfectly and, well, be the number 1 team in the entire game. So I guess that's their reasoning here. And the thing is, he's still on the bench if they did want to bring him back. Of course, then the question came through, who are they actually going to bring in instead of Neptune, right? I guess they need a fast entry aggro SMG because the engagements that we looked at right there weren't good for Neptune at all. So it was kind of surprising really, because you thought Neptune was going to be that guy on the team. Turns out that wasn't really the case. So I guess they were thinking, okay, we need an aBeZy effectively for our roster here. And of course, we're not going to get aBeZy. Maybe we'll get the aBeZy before aBeZy, as some people have called him, that being Patrick Price. But yeah, Eggs apparently is not going to be returning. Some people also talking about Doug St. Martin, right? Because in fairness, the last time New York Subliners won an event was the Subliners home series back in Modern Warfare, when Doug was a substitute on the team. He didn't play in the starting roster, but he was on the organization at the time. So people were saying, okay, bring back Doug, right? This is the time. But well, it doesn't seem that's the case. Even Doug tweets this out, right? Which I thought was a rare bit of humility, I thought, really, from Doug. He says, I'm not joining New York. Appreciate the love from the community, but there's a lot of work I have to do in order to earn a starting spot in the league. I think he tweeted out something else as well, the fact that, like, where he's placing in challenges, like, right now he just feels like, he has to win some of these challenger tourneys to be considered for these pro teams, which, I guess that's the mindset that you have to have. Got to keep improving. Don't feel like you deserve a spot or anything, so Doug's going to keep grinding, but this opportunity seemingly is not for him. This also from Vivid, right? He drops kind of the question marks in the chat, like they're thinking emojis, because I'm sure a lot of these guys are thinking, okay, what's going on here, right? Because with the Neptune gone, what does that mean for other rosters? Could they try and make something happen, right? The fact that Florida sold Neptune to New York, you'd imagine, for a fair bit of money, and then all of a sudden, within a week or so, he's getting benched from the team, which, well, seems like Florida maybe did a pretty good business move there. But, just crazy how this Call of Duty stuff works, honestly. I did not think stuff like this was going to be happening so quickly. And then let's talk about the replacements. So 2 names are being floated around. One of them was Johnny, or just Johnny, not sure how you meant to say it, from the North American challenger scene. He's been a pretty dominant force in the elite so far over there. Definitely someone I thought New York might take a chance on. I'm pretty sure they were also trialing him or considering Johnny, but Royalty is going to be the guy it seems they're going to go for. Royalty is a name you guys might not know, but if you've been following Call of Duty for a few years, you'll certainly know of Royalty, known for his crazy high sensitivity effectively, but a great player several years ago, but he really hasn't been in the league for quite some time. He has been near the top of some of the statistical charts in the challenger side for a couple of years now, but this is quite a surprise really to bring him in, but he does fit the mold of what I guess they're looking for in terms of a very, fast-paced aggro SMG. The Royalty certainly is and can bring that to the roster. Well, as Crone points out actually right here, Royalty is from Canada and would require a visa before Major 1 in 3 weeks. That's why I didn't mention him in the earlier article, but that might not be a problem. Also, if Royalty is signed, the Toronto Academy roster they were trying to bring in is now going to change. It was meant to be Hixie, Exotic, Diamond Con, and Royalty as well, well, they were meant to get signed, that's not the case anymore. So this already is kicking off some serious challenges Rostermania, as Royalty is coming into the New York starting lineup. Neptune's going down with his new team. Royalty really came up back in 2015, as Crone points out right here in the article. So not really a name I expected to get thrown into the ring right here, but definitely someone I think is deserving of a go. And also I heard from a relatively reliable source yesterday that they played a scrim. This might have been why they chose Royalty over Johnny or whatever they were considering behind the scenes, because I believe they played a scrim set yesterday up against Seattle Surge, and they won it 7-0 with Royalty in the team, which I imagine as soon as that happened, they were like, okay, maybe this isn't 100% accurate, but you'd have thought if that was the case, they played with Royalty, they're like, okay, lock it in, boys, we're going hard, because that's Seattle, of course, one of the best teams in the game right now, without a doubt, if not the very best. So this is probably chalked for now, this Toronto Academy, with the fact that Royalty is no longer going to be on this roster. So very interesting stuff. What do you guys think about this? I'm kind of torn on it in a way. Neptune's also now going to play with DiamondCon, Spartan Prelude. Look, I really respect the decision from New York saying, okay, we're going to pull the trigger straight away. We're not waiting around. The season isn't really that long. Every game counts. We need to make sure we try and find the correct iteration of our roster very soon indeed. But in theory, Neptune and Hydra should have had a higher ceiling, you would imagine, than Royalty, right? Because last season was the same thing with Neptune. He started out kind of slow. Towards the end of the year, he got very good. But I guess Clayster and Crimsix, of course, they know more than we do, right? They know what's going on internally. They feel like the communication and maybe the issues that the team was having, and they felt like maybe they need a guy like Royalty, who not only is an aggro sub and maybe can do that job better than Neptune can in this game, as we've seen from the stats, but also maybe brings more in terms of communication. He's a bit of a veteran, right? Royalty's been around for many years. Maybe that's going to help them. And even if they do need to make another change, they've got plenty of time to do so, right? They could easily bring Neptune back. Probably, well, I say probably, maybe this won't happen, but other organizations could, well, not make a change for quite some time, a couple of months or so. So you might not really be at risk of any other teams taking Neptune away from you already. And of course, you've still got plenty of time. If you do want to bring Johnny in or any other Challengers players, you might still be able to get there before many other orgs because you're making this change just so early. Or will this actually kickstart some other teams to think, okay, hang on a second, if New York are making moves after a bad start to the season, maybe we should consider doing something very similar indeed. Of course, Florida are probably pretty happy about this, right, having sold Neptune on. And of course, New York haven't really got the results they wanted so far, might end up selling on Neptune for a loss. It's just crazy that this is happening so early. Very much intrigued to your perspective in the comment section below. And just this, to be honest, really, for the JCap side to finish things off. JCap, when he sees another team benching someone after 2 matches, word for word, bar for bar. Very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tells the YouTube gods it's a good video, and it's like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.